The usual silly nonsense as I'm unprepared. But yeah, I really enjoyed yesterday. It was great to actually have people asking questions and having the answers to give. But I'm trying to be more regular on YouTube. Um, I'm trying to make more of a go. So I found room. I've had a jiggle about. Okay, like the little that's like a mini PA amp. That it's basically it's got a vocal channel and an instrument channel. It's a really cheap. It was a bulking amp. It's got a battery in it, but no longer charges. Um, I lent it to someone, and the idiot took it to fucking Bognor Regis, and it never come back with the charger. And I've never been able to get a charger. I've got the right chargers, right, but it's never like worked. So it'll like work as a power adapter, but it won't bloody charge the battery. So it isn't a portable amp anymore, which is a shame because it was quite loud and it was only like this was only 80 quid or something, brand new. It's a Stag, actually. I think it was a Stag anyway. But yeah, it's basically a little busking amp, and I used to sit on it, and that was that. But really quiet, just to get a bit of, just to sort of spread the volume. Anyway, so I've got all my backline in pretty much one place, and everything works. You can just there's no more dicking around. You can just hit the switch, everything works. But yeah, the Marshall yesterday, I really enjoyed demoing that and showing my gain stacking method. So today I am going to show you the Fender Champ, which is my main amp, the Super-Champ. So, just sort of like go. I'll just take you through my Fender amps. Now, there's a reason I've been using Fender Blackface amps now for quite a while. I was actually always a Marshall guy. Um, I had a very beautiful rig once upon a time, but it was always a lot of hassle. It was never a set and forget thing. It was always a lot of grief. It was always being repaired. It was always being twittered with. It was high maintenance. Not that it like broke down, but it always had little faults that needed addressing. But but yeah, if I catch Mr. White in the chat, I'll tell the story. If not, I'll tell it by the end. The reason that I switched from Marshall to Fender, and very specifically Fender Blackface, and all of my amps are Blackface. This bottom one, that is one of, I think it's possibly the second most well-regarded solid state guitar amp of all time. Probably no, probably about it. But the role of Jazz Chorus being the most well regarded of all time, and this is a Fender Deluxe 112 Plus, and I'd say that is the second most well regarded transistor amp of all time. Certainly, that seems to be the case on all the forums, and I'm not a big fan of forums. I'm not a big fan of the groupthink, but it is a wonderful amp that has an enormous ceiling. Like that will go. I can take that clean and shake this house to bits, and it's not a massive amp. It really isn't. It isn't that much bigger than a Champ, but it's got a wicked 12-inch speaker in there. It's built in the USA, and that one is either late 80s or early 90s. Then you got the Super-Champ, and I'll go through that in a minute. And here, this is a Champion 110, and this comes from the same era as this. This is actually built in Mexico, and it's also solid state. And this is a wonderful little amp. I got the Champ 110 as a stopgap measure because the valves were absolutely junked in the Super-Champ at one point. I changed the valves myself for these. Look at these. Now, what do you think of that? I got a matched pair, and in here are the ones that were taken out. and they are also Russian. If you look at the bottom, electro harmonics. But I wish I could quickly show you those. The ones that are in there, these are so well engineered. It's like comparing like Rolls Royce and like, you know, Austin Rover. Like, these are all right, nothing wrong with these electro harmonics. Quite well regarded from what I gather. I'm pretty sure groove tubes came as standard, so I'm not sure that these weren't actually put into the Champ at some point. I could be wrong about that, but I'm quite certain that the Champ comes with groove tubes. But yeah, electro harmonics in there, and they got popped out, and these were put in. Now these, I bought these. Apparently, this is what they were listed as. I could have 50 stock, 60 stock, or 70 stock. I went for 60 stock. Fucking Soviet Union space program surplus. So like military surplus, but no shit. Kazakhstan fucking space base surplus. That's where it came from. That's where it was mailed over from. And they weren't that expensive. Now, there's an amp guy in Chichester, well, lived in Pagham, and Mark Stevens, very dear friend, huge tone beast, hugely influential on my tone, son of the great John Stevens, who was my guitar mentor, total guitar sensei, my boss on the road. He was sound engineer, I was monitor engineer. John Stevens was my guide in all things, a daily visitor. You know, I live 60 miles away from Chichester now, but I can guarantee if John was still alive, he would drive up here once a week just to come and talk shit. He would have loved what I've done here. John would have loved this room and what I've done. And I'm gutted that he isn't around to see it. That, you know, I was a homeless bum when he died, and he didn't get he didn't get the chance to see me go on the upswing and you know, come back, you know, shake the dirt and the shit off my shoes, pull myself together, and, you know, find myself a nice studio. John believed in my music more than even me. He brought me out of my shell as I was, like, you know, in my early 20s, and he put me on stage. Working together, he realized, you know, that I was writing songs and that they were original, and he felt that I had talent. And he was wonderful at showing me off to the right people. And, you know, John was wonderful because he's really the only person that, apart from Andy Frost, my sister Jasmine's dad, and maybe Nigel Rippon too, that was really, and Richard Donnelly, an active critic of my music. And if I was working on a song and he might say, "Oh, I'm not sure about repeating that chord," or, "Oh, you should slow down a bit." He told me once, he goes, "Tim, slow down when you're doing the technical stuff, finger picking with the hammer-ons. Play it slower, it sounds faster." And what he was actually getting across was that, you know, I was playing so quick that the ear can't really hear it. And if you actually slow down, you hear more detail, which sounds faster. But John would have loved all this, what I'm doing here. I'm still here, my friend. I'm still here and there. I'm still here. I'm still here, my friends. I'm still here unchanged. I'm still here and there. I'm still here. think of this guitar? I adore it. I went to the furniture shop where I buy my guitars, and I've been looking for an electroacoustic. My God, the price tag's still on it. I actually got it for less than this. Like, I've never haggled with the guy because I felt the prices were fair. He always brings himself down. Look. But I don't know what it is. It's like someone's made a bloody effort to not know what it is. It's not a solid top. At least I'm pretty bloody sure it's not. But everything's straight as a die. And it's a very elegant, very minimalist electroacoustic. Passive pickup system. So, I use this to boost the signal and, run it into guitar amps. As you'll see shortly, shockingly, into the Champ, which I use at gigs. Now, the Fender Champ is a Class A valve amp. When you're in this channel, it's just clean volume and the EQ section. So clean EQ section and the DSP effects if you want them. But in this channel, it's a digital preamp. So you've still got the power stage, you've still got a fucking 12AX7 preamp, but you've also got a digital section, so it's a hybrid. Now, when I bought the amp, I bought it purely for that clean channel. I had no intention of using the modeling channel. When the guy was telling me about it, I was like, yeah, whatever, I don't care, I'm never going to use it anyway, mate, blah, 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 blah. Actually, I never used just the clean channel. This is the amp that got me into modeling, pretty much single-handedly. There were two things really: that amp and the Cosm engine on the Boss BR600, which I think is like an ME60 in there or something, or ME30 in there or something like that. I'll have to look into that. But between the two of them, because I had a very dim view of modeling, and between the two of them, I completely turned around, and I love modeling. I love guitar modeling. I love modeling amps. It works so well. The technology is so good now, even though that's like 15 years old, and that's at least 10, I think. Because now you can't get the XD. It's the Super-Champ XD. Now it's the Super-Champ X2, and it's exactly the same, but it has a little USB socket, which I think is so you can direct record, or so you can get into the guts of it and edit things. And it's got a little tap thing, so like with your delays, with your effects, you can load in a tap tempo. What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? Was that me? Doesn't matter. Anyway, scratch me nuts. That's the only difference, and I don't really put much stock in this, but the guy that sold me the XD said that the XDs are much better than the X2s, that the X2s have got a bit they've got a bit harsh in the upper mids. He was quite adamant about that. I don't know, at some point in time, because I adore this amp so much, at some point in time, I'm going to buy the head version, the X2, not the XD, unless I find an XD secondhand cheap. But I'd like to try the X2. I'm not sure. I mean, like a lot of things, it's like I said, I've never used the modeling section on that, and I did. It's like I'm thinking I'll never use the tap tempo function, but I probably will. It's like a lot of the things that I think I'm not going to use, I end up using. But yeah, basically, I like having I'll show you with the Marshall. So I like to have this LTD, by the way, the Gunsmoke Blue LTD F-Type. This is my stage second, what Stevie Ray Vaughan would call second wife. His battered Sunburst was the first wife, and his Candy Apple Red Strat was second wife, or was it the white one? I can't remember. But this is second wife, and I've kept this like stock. Electronically it's stock. Only aesthetics that will change because I've got two of them, and I plan to maybe get a few more. I want to keep track on exactly what the upgrades are doing, and I recommend that you do that yourself. If you're playing, if you've got like a couple of guitars, use a stage second. I think a stage second is crucial. You're playing a gig, you snap a string, you turn around, you pick up your other guitar, and you plug it in and you carry on. In the meantime, so if you've got a fucking tech or a roadie, that's amazing, congratulations. Or your girlfriend or your buddy or whatever, and you get them to change the string on the guitar that you've just snapped a string, and then that becomes a spare. You only need 2, you don't need 10, you just need 2. And someone there, surely the sound engineer, that can just change the string for you. So you've always got a spare running. So this is number 2. So it's slightly different. You'll see the black one next time or another time. But I adore the F series. I think the shape is just fantastic because it has all the style and coolness of a heavy metal pointy guitar. But much like the BC Rich Virgo that John Mancuta showed us last night on the Johnny Bean live stream over in the States, which I very much enjoyed. This is a guitar that just works like a normal guitar. It sits like a normal guitar. I love the long top horn and the short bottom one. I just love this guitar. And I bought them both as a pair. I think I've told you about this, but I bought them both as a pair. They're both factory seconds, cosmetic flaws only. I got a crazy deal from ESP on these. Like, they done me the best deal you can imagine on these. This one, I think, was a 2010 and the other one a 2014. So this one in particular had been sat in the factory for quite a while. But anyway, back to how I do things. Now, I used to run, like many of you do, a tube amp set to drive and then clean it up with the volume pedal. Gary, hello, buddy. Good to see you, man. Thanks for joining me. Bit of waffle and then I'll be playing, bruv. Sorry, a bit of this technical bollocks about guitar amps will go over your head, but it's not going to be long. And hopefully it'll be half interesting. Yeah, I used to do it like, a lot of people do it. Control the cleanness and the overdrive with the volume knob. So, just back it off to get clean. But I prefer, to be honest, having a clean amp as a pedal platform and running front end gain. I used to think that you couldn't get the quality up there, but you can. It just, And so what you get then is for songs, basically for performing particular songs, it gives you a bit more room. That reverb, by the way, I love it on the Marshall. You get the idea. Like, there's ways of structuring songs, and to be able to go from absolutely clean to absolutely dirty with a flick of a switch, it's marvelous. And that's why I like it. Now, I like a clean amp as a pedal platform, and that's really now. So we'll start with the Marshall there. Kick in the tube screamer boost. So just a reminder from yesterday. So what I've got there is I've got the governor set not really as driven as it would like to be, but this is a useful sound. This is like your blues rock sound. I call it the Bon Jovi sound, but that's a misnomer, really. Don't know what's going on out there. Craziness in the forest. A swan has tripped over. A horse needs a can of Coke. This is the New Forest. So yeah. So, you know, so we've got this, like, you know, sort of bluesy. And, you know, as I said, so I can go from like Bon Jovi, blues rock, which, you know, is a subtle enough drive that you can hit full chords and get full definition. Which, incidentally, is always a good test of a good overdrive. Smack a full chord. Can you hear the definition of each individual of the 6 strings? And then kick it up with a tube screamer into sort of thrash territories. So that, my friends, is the Marshall at work, and that will give you some kind of gauge. Now here, down there, is a channel switcher, and this channel switcher, you can actually use it either way round. So I can spin it around and I can put 2 guitars into an amp and switch between one or the other, or I can switch between one amp and another. And so now we're into the champ. Lovely. That's just nothing, just clean. Out of tune clean. Out of tune clean. Check this out. This is just a quick guitar sound on the keyboard. Yeah, that is like a classical guitar sound on the keyboard. So I tell you what, isn't it interesting listening to someone tune an electric guitar? I'm sorry. I absolutely love this guitar. The silly thing is, like, it's only got like the stock machine heads on it. They're nothing crazy, you know, just some fucking cheapo thing ESP badged. But they feel so good. Everything feels so solid. And for a guitar that's got, you know, a long neck, long scale length, you know, very naked neck heel, there's not a lot sort of like on a Les Paul there, you know, you've got a lot of ka-chunk. This has got very little as such. It's got that Ibanez style sort of beautiful. I love this. I mean, I started with an Ibanez Geo when I got back into it all, 2016. And it had exactly this, and that was a key thing I wanted. I love that neck joint, you know, even now. But a very long neck, 25.5 scale, but by dint of the design, a very sort of naked neck, like on the heel. But there's no floppiness. It's not a fucking massive fat neck by any means. And it's no Ibanez Wizard either. But it's exceptionally solid. Like there's no movement. This guitar's so good. These are both wonderful, the F-type. LTD in general are just brilliant. And what I think makes them the best is it's all in the body and the neck. It's all in the body and neck. They're great. You can just mod them to the heavens. But yeah, there's no movement in this neck. It doesn't flop about at all. And even though like the headstock just looks a bit biscuity and a bit skinny and a bit weird, I didn't like the headstock at first. I thought it was odd. A lot of wasted space. I hated this bit. I thought, ugh, but I love it now. I love it. I just love it. And when I move the tuning pegs, it just feels like such quality. It feels up there with like my old Music Man Stingray, my old Ernie Ball Silhouette, my Gibson The Paul, which was the all walnut Les Paul. Oh God, so many good guitars that I had, and this feels right up there, and it's not anywhere near those. It's 10% of those prices on some of them. So yeah, it's very little to, only really Ibanez that hold a candle to LTD, in my view, buying new. I don't think Yamaha have got the quality, but they haven't got the character. They're a bit like a Bic Biro. They just haven't got any personality. The S2000s and stuff, and the old J3s and all that. But they're a bit bereft of character. Ibanez are really good, like a Maestro guitar, whereas this is like, there's no punk to an Ibanez, if you get me. There's no, this is like, this has like proper death metal heritage. And Jackson too, but Jackson are brilliant, but they suffer a little bit from sort of feeling not quite finished. The necks are very rough. Quite often, like, you get like little bits of flash where it just hasn't been, you got little puffs of wood and tufts and things. It's just not finished. But I don't mind that because you just finish it yourself, right? All the money is in the wood, the components, the fact that you can get like a fucking Randy Rhodes for 150 quid and get going, and it's got Jackson on the headstock. You know what? Like, that's a guitar that somebody that's bought their first guitar, they'll fucking wake up and want to play it. And that's the most important thing about a guitar, is that you want to play it. I mean, in my view, it is the most important thing. Anyway, where was I? Oh, bless you, Gary. Well, I'll be making some noise. So, where was I? So yeah, clean. The beautiful tones of the Super-Champ. Now, I'm going to take you to a sound. Like, funny enough, this is a model of the Blackface, but I'll take you to the sound that I used for 4 years until I couldn't find anything better until very recently. But now this is a model of an awful amp called the Metal 2000 by Fender, which is a solid state 300 watt or 400 watt, something utterly ridiculous. Awful amp that looks like it come out of like a high school metalwork class, and it sounds like a piece of shit. Now this is a model of that, but of course this is a fucking class A valve amp, so it's a strange interpretation. So what you get is this, and this is a fucking bitching sound. But I have since gone to the Blackface, and that's where I like to be. Shit, I can't remember where I was now. What was it for? Yeah. I've got to check now. I honestly don't know my profile, so I was doing it like blind. Literally yesterday I was doing it blind, and I found a fucking sound I feel is better than the one I've been using for 4 years. And it was weird. It's like you know, you can get stuck in your ways really easy. And what happened there was no, I'm not. Hang on. Yeah, number 4, bright early Blackface. And you know what happened? I just, you know, it was the best sound. Moved around a little bit, tried other things at different times, but it was such a good sound. I just used it all the time. No pedal, nothing. Just straight into the amp. All that fucking drive. But yesterday, after I demoed the Marshall on the last live stream, I spent the whole afternoon messing around with that Super-Champ, and I treated it like I just bought it, and I was feeling my way around the sounds, and this is the sound I arrived at. Fucking strangely enough, you know, it's a Blackface, which is my favourite amp, and just so happens that the model that I like the best is of my favourite amp, so just shows you. And that's not the only amp. Also, the Vox, my favourite sound on that, turns out to be a model of a Blackface. So something working, something right in it all. Anyway. So this has DSP effects. I'm just going to show you a bit of reverb, but I have to tell you, I think the reverb in the fucking Marshall's better, man. Oh, I'm just going to turn off the Marshall. You know, I think the reverb in the Marshall is better. I really do, and that's a digital reverb as well. I just don't think this one's up to much. I mean, maybe I'm being hard on it. But you know, I think also part of it is, you know, this is a fucking 500-600 quid amp. I think they're 569 now, the Super-Champs. So it's a 500-600 quid amp, and it's got a DSP effects effect system in there. You expect it to be good. That's a fucking 80-90 quid Marshall, and it's got a digital effects system as well, which vastly exceeds expectations. So there's that. There is that. It's like when something's expensive, you expect it to be good. And, you know, I mean, I'm going to say this, right? Maybe the Marshall effects aren't better than the ones on this, but they're certainly on a par. And that's, you know, kind of, in its own way, that's kind of disappointing enough, right? So, so you heard the delay on the Marshall yesterday, and there's a lot more room for adjustment. This has got like click, 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 3 modes of delay, so it's like those 3 speeds, and that's your lot. Whereas on the Marshall, it's like it's adjustability. You can sort of adjust it yourself between like 0 and whatever it is, and anywhere in between. Whereas this, you've got like notch, notch, notch. But it's not bad. God, these strings are so dead. what was it yesterday? The silver burst, wasn't it? And the orange thing, but I think mostly the silver burst, I think. Yeah, I honestly think the delay is better on the Marshall. I think the reverb's better on the Marshall. You know, surprised. I mean, these effects on here are just not that good. This is all right though. I like this. This is a vibratone. I actually do like this sound. Sort of like a rotary speaker sort of vibe of sound. You got a tremolo, which is very good. I'm going to put that all the way so it's a hard clip. Yeah, like on the Marshall, you've got like a level on the effects, like 0 to 10. So, you know, it's like how much the effect is there. That's a very overlooked control. When you're doing that, don't just max it out, like play with it. With effects, less is more. Subtlety is your friend, you know, and sometimes less is more. Just that little hint of chorus, just that little hint of a phaser, you know, just that tiny, subtle, like whisper of a reverb makes an enormous difference, and it doesn't clutter up the sound. It doesn't pollute your sound, you know, with this new fucking dynamic. And effects can really screw up your sound, you know. When you're trying to do a mix, you get a guitar sound and it cuts through the mix, but it's got like warmth, it's got body. And then, you know, you've got an effect and you're determined like to fucking use an effect, and it just destroys it. Takes all the bottom end out of it, takes all the top end out of it, destroys all the definition and articulation of the note, and you get this mush. So be very careful, and like I say, less is more is your key word with effects. So what was this? Tremolo? Very good tremolo. Like, very good. For digital tremolo, very good. Yeah, very, very nice. And I'm going to halfway that, so put it onto 5. So you get an idea of like what it's like when it's not hard clipping. See? So it's like, it's not it's more like wah, 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 wah. See? I'll put it back up to hard. See? Yeah, that's a gate opening and shutting. Whereas this is a flag billowing in the wind. There's a couple of combination effects. Like you can have like chorus and delay. Again, I'm not a massive fan of the chorus on this. Actually, that sounds bloody gorgeous. Again, I don't really use these effects much. As I was saying yesterday, I generally have disdain for sort of onboard effects on amps. Just don't interest me that much. But like with the Marshall, my goodness, I was so impressed. You know, I actually like use them a lot. I've only had the Marshall a few days, and I've used the effects a lot. You know, and it's given me enthusiasm for the effects on this as well. Okay, that's turned up all the way, and that's actually nice. So yeah, chorus and reverb. This is a good one. Delay and reverb. Having problems here. Right, so yeah, I think that's pretty much all the all the effects you need to see. So yeah, lastly, I'm just going to go and do the thing that I was doing yesterday with the Marshall, but I'm going to do it with a champ. Yeah, gotcha. Right. Some weirdness outside. Well, yeah, there you go. So, like, that's a blues thing I've been noodling around with. I've got a few new blues ones on the way. But yeah, like using my boost and my governor, and absolutely love it. Love the sound that I'm getting. But yeah, that is the Fender Super-Champ, and that is my main amp. It's my main backline. I've used it electric gigs and I've used it acoustic now. Almost forgot. This is going to blow your fucking mind. Okay, so as I say, it's got like all kinds of amp modeling. And one of the models is an Acoustasonic. Now, this is cool. The Acoustasonic, as you probably know, is a solid state acoustic amp. And of course, this, as I keep going on and on about, is a Class A valve amp. So check this out. This is a Class A tube acoustic amp. So yeah. Now, so we go, turn one down, we go to option 16. I haven't done any meddling around, not doing any EQing, I'm just giving it a quick demo, because usually I use I don't even use this bridge pickup in this, but I'm not dicking around, I'm just doing that. There you go, there's your demo. Don't let go. Don't let go. Don't let go. Don't let go of friends or strangers. Don't let go of love and kindness. Don't let go. Don't let go. Don't let go of memory. Don't let go. Enjoy the cool breeze. Don't let go. Just stay with me now. Don't let go. Don't let go. Don't let go. Don't let go. Don't let go of fade line harness. Don't let go of ancient knowledge. Don't let go. Don't let go. Don't let go. So yeah, there you go. I haven't done any fucking tweaking about. I know that I could make it sound a lot better than that, but there you go. The Acoustasonic option. Now, isn't that fucking amazing? That I don't know of any other amp that will do that. And that is, I mean, that's why this amp gets so much work. Okay, it obviously for like dirty stuff, overdrive stuff, it obviously gets work in the studio. It has no, because it's got no speaker emulated outs or any of that, so it's mic up to the thing. So obviously gets a lot of work in the studio. Sessioning with other people too. Gary, you got no idea. I've been up all night recording, and I've had like just over an hour's kip, but it's all right. I feel refreshed. But actually, you have reminded me. Let me just have a bit of coffee. That lovely espresso. Look at that. Well, cappuccino. Actually, I'm talking shit. It looks so baked. Yeah, spotted, Gary. Spotted, bruv. In fairness, I usually am. Nothing naughty anymore. I stick to my medication, which I'm reducing at quite a quick rate. You know what, Gary? I'm on half the methadone that I was when I moved up here. I was on 90 mils, Last time I saw you, I was on 90 mils. And I'm on 50 now. So I'm coming down. I'm coming down, I will be off. But it's just weed. I haven't done any hard drugs anything naughty for 18 months. Like, it's and it never really crosses my mind. It's yeah, it should be apparent. I mean, it's like, I'm only on the dole and I'm getting music equipment, and I pay my own rent out of my own pocket. I don't get housing benefit, so it's like, it must be apparent that like I'm not fucking around. There's no way that I'd be able to pull this together. But yeah, so the amp gets a lot of work in the studio and sessioning with other people. It gets used at gigs whereby I do like the piggyback trick where, I use like a bigger amp as like a sort of monitor, like, backline, bit of volume, and hidden behind it, the Billy Boymer skimming technique, the harp player that Chris Hodgson, if you're in the chat, you spoke to Billy. He's the guy with the 57 champ. I used to work for him. He's a genuine rock star, Chris. Yeah, I do the Billy Boymer skimming trick, and like I have the champ hidden behind the big amp. What I will do is an ISO box for the champ. I'm going to do the ISO box technique. Just haven't built one yet. So yeah, it gets used in like full band gigs in the Billy Boymer skimming, and it also gets used at acoustic gigs. I've done about a dozen shows where I've used the champ at an acoustic gig, and it just sounds fucking awesome. Someone said to me a couple of months ago, they were going on about how great their Carlsbad acoustic amp was and how it was the best. There was nothing better than this like acoustic amp by Carlsbad. And he was sort of suggesting, talking about Laney, and he was sort of suggesting that Carlsbad was sort of in the same sort of lane as, the same sort of category as Laney, which I don't agree with that at all. I think, fucking Laney are a really good amp manufacturer. They're a bit of a sleeper, a bit overlooked, have good times, bad times, but I think Laney are great. And I think Carlsbad are pretty bloody rubbish, frankly. I think they're terrible. But yeah, I was listening to this dude and he's going on about, and I love the guy, he's a great guy, don't get me wrong, I love him, but when it comes to talking about like guitar stuff and that, he's not someone that, I mean, look, I'm surrounded by people that really know what they're talking about. If I talk shit here, it'll get picked up on instantly, and I'll be told, I'll be spanked. So, I don't just fucking talk out of nowhere. I am always researching, and I'm always talking to people that know a lot more than I do, that make me look like an idiot. But yeah, like this guy's going on about how fucking amazing his like acoustic amp is. It's some Carlsbad thing with a Union Jack on it. Yes, right. And I didn't say a word because I know, look, I've got this Class A fucking Super-Champ that has an acoustasonic mode, which is a fucking Acoustasonic's a transistor amp, but this is being rendered through a fucking a full valve, power stage. So what the fuck? What do you expect? So basically, that's a bargain. When you look at it like, okay, I'm doing electric gigs, I'm doing like studio stuff, session stuff, and I'm doing acoustic gigs, fucking 500-600 quid is actually a fucking bargain. I mean, where the hell are you going to get like an all-tube acoustic amp with those features? I mean, and how much is it going to cost? So yeah, it is a phenomenal little amp. It's the very heart and core of my tone, really, and that's it. And I hope you like it. Actually, I couldn't give a shit if you like it, as long as I like it, and as long as you like the end result. Only weed, by the way, nothing crazy. Yeah. And you're right, Gary, absolutely baked. So yeah, that's about it. The new Tube Streamer boost pedal. I'm kind of fucking stuck with it. I don't mean stuck with it. I'm kind of loving it. I'm really liking it. But I'm not taking anything away from the Behringer. I think if you've got 20 quid and you need a Tube Screamer, don't fucking even think about it. Just buy the Behringer, because this thing it sounds exactly like the pedal that it's cloned from. This is a TS-808 by any other name. And when you think like, well, you know, you're looking at a couple of grand for a fucking TS-808, a real black label, or 20 quid. And like, who gives a fuck if you break it? Just buy another one. You know, and these fucking dudes that like, oh, it's plastic, it'll never survive the road and that. I don't know if you should be playing guitar if you're such a fucking klutz that you can't just press that with your foot and not break it. Okay, it's plastic, but it's like, you know, it's ABS plastic, you know, the high impact plastic, like what, you know, Tonka toys and shit are made of. Okay, the knobs could shear off and whatnot, but how fucking hard are you going to stomp on this thing? You know, you're not going to break it. I would happily take Behringer on the road. Like, the three Behringers that I own do the job perfectly well. I'm probably going to get all the utility pedals, by which utility pedals being like the boring pedals, you know, the ones that aren't fucking phasers and delays and shit. Things like noise gates and graphic EQ and parametric EQ and, you know, all that shit. I'm just going to get the Behringers because fucking hell, so far so good. Actually, what I really need, I've written a tune and I really need an octave pedal. I've got it on a multi-effect, but I really need now a standalone octave pedal. I'm just going to get the Behringer. I'm not going to fucking bother looking at it. I'm just going to get the Behringer. If it's not up to scratch, I'll fuck it off. You know, I'll get something else. But yeah, seriously. And we're on the subject of like, you know, things. It's my birthday coming up soon. So I want to do something for that. So I'm definitely going to do something for that. So keep your eyes open. Cool, been going for an hour. Yeah, like it. Always hit like. Always you know, make sure you're subscribed. Comment in the comments. Just say, "Oh, I enjoyed that," or "Oh, you were a fucking dickhead." Because comments help. Any interaction with it, you know, anything with my channel helps. So if you just say hi down there in the comments, that actually really helps me out because you're interacting with the channel and like, you know, it'll start getting into the algorithms. Yeah, I speak to Jim a bit, Gary. Yeah, he's actually doing all right, doing really all right. I wish you guys would mend fences. I'm sure you can mend fences. At least get it to the point that you're not like cutting each other off. You know, at least get it to the point where, you know, it's peace and you can walk down the street and pass each other on the street and it not blow up and turn into a fucking fiasco. You know, it's like, I love Jim to bits and I've really enjoyed fucking getting to know you. I haven't really known you that long, Gary, but you know, you've been fucking great. I've really enjoyed fucking getting to know you, man. I wish, you know, met you sooner. But yeah, you know, I'm sorry to bring it all up, but yeah, I kind of hope that you two will like mend fences. But no, he's all right. You know, it's he's in a place. He's looking after himself. He's doing all the right things. He's not like destroyed by depression, you know. But yeah, I might try and ring him up later. But fucking yeah, you know, I will give you a shout out when I'm coming down next. I've got a bass guitar still, hopefully. I've got a bass guitar in Chai still and a few bits and bobs of furniture and that. So I've got to come down and get some bits. Been meaning to do it all year pretty much, but I'll definitely give you a shout. We'll meet up when I come down. But yeah, the angina have been kicking my ass, Gary. That's what, you know, that came on last year. I don't know if I told you about all that, but fucking, I've adjusted my diet, although I can't say this is too good, but then I haven't ate one yet. I generally don't eat stuff like this. My girlfriend is really fucking good because, like, okay, say for instance yesterday, right? I was just fucking hard at the guitar all day yesterday. And like at some point she made a lovely fucking like a vegetarian pizza with loads of spinach and stuff on it, and chips, and offered me some, and I was like, oh, a little bit, and it was lovely. There was low fat. You know, it was like, you know, some pizzas you could like tip them, and like all the fat would pour off, or you can like lay a piece of kitchen. You know, you can lay a piece of like fucking kitchen roll on it, and it will just soak up a load of fat. Some people do that, like to actually when they're on a diet and stuff. Um, this thing, you know, it just had no fat on it, and it was like nice cheese and vegetables on a pizza, and like bits of spinach and stuff. It was lush, and nice chips with the skins on and all that. Lovely. Now the thing is, if she hadn't have done that, like I would have probably got to about 1 o'clock in the morning and thought, oh fuck, I haven't eaten. And then I'll go and eat some fucking crap, like 'cause it'll be toast and it'll be butter on toast, you know, straight away. That's not a good idea. So, you know, it's like I do eat toast and things. I have a tiny little scratch of like margarine, not real butter. I've totally reduced fat and sugar. I used to have 3 sugars in my tea, as you probably know. Now I have a big mug, like, and I have 1 sugar in that. One sugar. I've made a lot of changes, and so far so good. Touch wood. Touch wood. The angina isn't bothering me. It's terrifying. It's terrifying. It's like you read on the internet, and the first is like, yeah, okay, yeah, angina lasts 10, 20 minutes. If it's any longer than that, it's because it's turning into a heart attack, and you and like it is fucking terrifying. You know, your fucking chest is being crushed, and your heart's bang, 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 and all you can do is just lie there, relax everything, and just try and get through to the other side. And it's happened so many times, and it's so fucking scary. Like it is terrifying. And then what happens is when I have like a serious angina attack like that, then for the next 3 or 4 days, every time there's a little twinge of a feeling in my chest, I'm in panic mode, terror. It is fucking. It's dispiriting. It knocks your spirit out because it's that fucking terror. It's like intimidating and oppressive. Bear story. Yeah, fucking right. Let me just have a big old fart. That was a bear. That wasn't me. Mia, you disgusting hound. Like there's a dog that lives there. All right. There's a guy goes on the Joe Rogan show. His name's Steve Rinella, and they're like mad into their hunting and all that. This fucking dude, he's got a fucking gun. I think it's like a 357 or 44 or something like that. It's quite a fucking decent gun, quite a big gun. And so he gets charged out in the wilderness while hunting. He gets into a face-to-face with a Kodiak bear, which is the biggest bear on the planet. I think only a polar bear is bigger. Kodiak bear is native to like the Kodiak Island, which is I think between Canada and Alaska. It's like around that area. It's like Canada, Alaska. So it's like, it's right up in the Northwest Territory. And he gets like in a head-to-head with a fucking Kodiak bear, and this Kodiak bear charges him, which means that, and then it stops. Okay, it's like a fucking tactic. Fuck it, and he faces that because he's got his fucking revolver. Okay, so he's holding the revolver. Yeah. This bear charges, and he just fucking psychs it out, and the bear goes right. Finds out like later on that the bullets in that fucking pistol would never have fired. They were like the right bore, but totally the wrong caliber. They were totally the wrong bullets. They would never have actually fired. They were so like long. They were like, I think they were like the rifle version of the bullet, not the pistol version. So it would have just jammed in his fucking chamber. So he would never have had a gun to defend himself, you know. And it's a fucking crazy story. And you see the fucking pictures. This fucking bear is fucking feet away, and it's like Kodiak bears are massive. You're talking 1,000-pound bear. You know, you're talking like the mass of like, you know, 8 or 9 or 10 of me, right? Yeah. And another thing he did, they were out hunting and they got the elk and they hung it in a tree. They hung it in a tree to come back for it, because you're not going to drag it all across your hunt. You know, you're going to hang it up in a tree and then gather it on the way. It's a specific mission, and you probably butcher it right there because of the weight. So they've done this thing. They go on their roundabout. This is on Kodiak Island. This is actually on Kodiak Island with the Kodiak bears. And they're the big, like I say, the biggest bears in the world. It's a brown bear, but it's like big, because I think it's something to do with living in the cold climate. There is like a law, and I can't remember like what the law is. I don't mean a legal law. I mean a natural law, and it's like the Bernoulli principle, that sort of thing. And it's called like Hayden's law or whatever. And it's like a state where like the colder and denser the climate, like the bigger the animals get. And it's something to do. It's like an evolutionary pressure. You know, that's like apparently maybe one of the reasons why like squid, like the deeper you go, the bigger the squid are. Like literally. Anyway, so they've hung this fucking thing up. They go back to get the meat, and it's a long old trek. So they've got like walked all the way up to the top of this hill, and it's all forested. To get there, and the elk's hanging up in the tree, and so before we cut it down and skin it and butcher it up and divvy it up and put it in our packs and walk back, we will have lunch. So they're sat chilling having lunch, and then like Steve Ranella, again, same dude, describes it as like looking at the party like a landmine going off in the middle of them, because they all just fucking got up, exploded in every direction. A bear came charging into the camp with its fucking mouth open and like narrowly missed Steve Ranella by 6 inches. And like they had like guns out and bear mace, because it had even occurred to them that like a bear may have come across their meat hanging in the tree and claimed it, because this happens. And they did not realize the bear was quiet and is obviously ambling about, but the bear had already claimed it. The bear had found it and had claimed it, and so he was fucking them off. And they were sat there eating lunch. They had no bloody idea that this thing was going on. They'd got, and they've got their fucking big bear guns this time with the proper bullets, like out and on top of their packs and the bear mace and all that. And the most anyone did in the heat of the moment was bash it with a hiking stick. But there was no problems. Like nobody died. It was just like yeah. But go to the Joe Rogan. Like if you've seen the Joe Rogan show, Steve Ranella, Joe Rogan, like the bear stories, because they've got more. And it's like, this guy spends so much time. I mean, Joe Rogan hunts a little bit, but this Steve Ranella guy is like, he does it like I play guitar. He does it all day, every day, and fucking he lives for it. And like his bear stories and wolf stories and all that are just fucking incredible, because you spend that much time out in nature, you must fucking see some shit. But yeah, I'm fucking glad you turned up, Gary. Like, yeah, basically I still vape. Like I'm still on the vape, and this is the vape I use. I did have I've got a really good one, but it's more like hitting a bong, I got this like new chamber, because it's like the nice sort of orange color and all that. And this is a special type of coil, which is a mesh grill. So it's like really easy. There's like no resistance. And you get a massive lug off it. It's one of you get a massive lug. A big plume comes out. But it's like having a bong hit. It's not like this is like smoking a cigarette or a cigar. I much prefer these. And get you get through these. They go rip through fluid. Not that it matters. Fluid's not expensive. Right? Like the fluid around here is not expensive at all. It's like Chichester. It's always like 10 quid for 3 bottles and stuff like that, whereas up here it's like 5 quid. But I prefer this as more like puffing a cigarette. And I do actually really enjoy vaping. It's like, you know, I enjoy it more. Like, it's like I'm enjoying nicotine more than I ever did when I smoked cigarettes. Well, I'm enjoying tobacco more than I ever did when I smoked cigarettes. This has got a wicked one in it, actually, right at the moment. It's got this one. It's called Coconut Breeze. Coconut Breeze. And it's really nice. You know, it's coconut, but it's warm. It's like a bounty bar, actually. But with a tobacco taste, it's just that works really well. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I love it here, Gary. And like fucking, I tell you, let me just show you something. Like, you just let me just dim the light a bit, because otherwise it'll blow out when I show you. But it's like, you know, I've got like fucking house plants and stuff, and fucking, you know, when you look out the window, all you can see is fucking trees. Okay, it's like, yeah, I'm in the New Forest, and it's like you'd think I'm in the forest looking out the window. Someone yesterday thought I was, but you know, I've started collecting my cacti and my succulents again. You know, and it's like, and you look, all my guitars are there, up on the wall. All the acoustics are up on the wall. All the electrics are down there, and like, this is the little studio area. Everything's done here. That's the recording. And I don't know if you know, but like, the last time I bought a guitar, I bought a Strat, and which I was going to snakeskin Strat, really cool. I got this, right, and it was up on the wall for 90 quid. And like, this classical guitar had started making a noise, and it's only a cheapie anyway. It's like only like, you know, a cheap thing anyway. But I love it. I play it, and it works, right? Bear with me. You know, it's fine, but it developed a noise which bloody miraculously disappeared at the moment. Anyway, and I thought, right, I'm going to when I go to get the Strat, I'm going to see if I can find a classical, like in a charity shop. There's always fucking 30 quid classicals in charity shops. I mean, that's where that would have come from. Actually, Stone Pillow gave me that. So, anyway, the dude in the fucking furniture shop where I get my guitars had this. I picked it up before. He said, "Oh, there's only that thing. You won't be interested." He goes, "I'll be prepared to let it go for 60 quid. It's a 500 quid guitar." And I didn't take it much notice of that. I thought, yeah, you know. But I had a look at it, and I thought, oh, that's a nice classical. Look at the, like, you know, look at the purfling. Look at that. Is wood. Yeah, that is wood. The light bit. Yeah. And the quality of this is German spruce, which is grown on the mountains, so that it's really slow growth, so it's really dense. So they pick this like really amazing spruce. Well, this is a flamenco guitar, a proper flamenco guitar. Anyway, so he said, like, yeah, like, I've been offering it for 60 quid, nobody wants it, blah, blah, blah. And like I say, this was on the wall for 90. And I thought to myself, I goes, right, so what do you want for them both then? And I thought to myself, I made a quick calculation. I thought, okay, if it's anything like 100, if it's like 130 quid, snap his arms off for it, right? So I figured, okay, like you said, 60 for this, and this is 90. So that comes to 150. So if he says 130, yeah, go for it. That's a good deal. And he goes, yeah, you can have it for a ton. I can have them both for a ton, right? So that's like, this was fucking 70 quid and this was 30 quid. That's what I figured out anyway. Anyway, well chuffed, right? Brilliant. Nice new nylon string, okay? And bear in mind, just as an aside, as soon as I bought another nylon string, the noise that had been annoying me in that one just disappeared. I didn't do anything, it just disappeared. Fucking sod's law. But anyway, glad it happened. I come home and I go, okay, Manuel Raimundo. Okay, made in Spain. That does kind of look pretty serious. 1978. This is a 1978. It's a solid top. So I get home and standard tuning, Mr. White. Good to see you. But drop down to E flat. And I get home and I Google Manuel Raimundo, and he's one of the top flamenco luthiers in the world. Turns out this is worth 2,250 quid, Gary. 2,250 quid. And I got it for 30 quid, entirely legit. Nothing dodgy about it at all. And I went back down, when I discovered this, I went back down, I spoke to him, and I told the dude, and I said, look, I'm never going to sell it. I'm not going to use it for profit. Okay, I said, as far as I'm concerned, it's a gift, because, it's like, I'm quite serious about the acoustic guitar. And so this is a wonderful gift, and it's an opportunity that I wouldn't normally get. And he wasn't bothered at all. He was like, you got the good deal today, mate. Like, you know what I mean? It was like, well, you got the good deal today. Like, and it was like he didn't mind at all. And because, I've gone in there and it's like every month, and I don't quibble. I never quibble. It's like, if I decide I'll buy the guitar, it's because it's a fair price. I like the guitar and it's a fair price. So I never haggle. He always haggles himself. So he'll say, "Oh, you could," like with the Les Paul, that was up on the wall for 100 quid, and he's like, "Oh, you can have it for 90 if it's cash." It's like the 85 quid acoustic, yeah, it's 70 quid cash, and always I never haggle. And all of the guitars I bought this year, apart from the one that I'm about to collect, has been that way. So, Mr. White, I've been saving the story. Now, the reason I use Blackface Fenders, I used to use like Marshalls. I used to have a 50-watt master volume. I had a small box 50, and a JCM 900, which didn't work. I never ever had that working and plugged in, so I don't really count really. And I've had a couple of 4x12, one of which was extremely special. Again, Mark Stevens, very dear friend. And he sourced me this fucking 4x12, a bass one, so the flat ones. I don't like the angled ones. Loaded with greenbacks, which is a speaker, Gary. A greenback is like a 30-watt Celestian, and it's like there's the back of the magnet's got like a bit of green plastic band around it, and like a band of plastic around the magnet, and it's green, and that's what they call greenbacks. And they're like a really good like guitar, speaker for cabinets, and like a 12-inch speaker like what's in that, and like a 4x12 is 4 of those 12-inch speakers, so and that's your classic Marshalls, and you got like 2 of those, one on top of the other, with the actual amp on top of that, and that's your classic Marshall stack. So yeah, I had a couple of 4x12s, and one wasn't up to much. It was just your standard, it was a 1960. It was a flat, but it was like your elephant hide, and it was just a Celestian, like a 75 watt, I think. But and I got that because it was cheap. But I always used this other one, and when we were cleaning it, we discovered it was purple underneath. It was a basket weave, so that must have been a custom order. And Mark was honestly convinced that it could be something to do with Jimi Hendrix. I never bought into that, but it's like interesting to think on it. But it was the bass cab, it was 60s, it was basket weave, and it was purple, which would have been a custom order back then. And somebody had painted it black, so we got that half off. But yeah, so back in the day, and I did it like everyone else does it, Mr. White. It's like, ka-dang, I've got it dirty, and then like wind off the volume to get it clean. Whereas now I like a clean amp, which is a good pedal platform, like an amp is a good pedal platform, and like have it clean, and I've got that clean sound. I can hit a switch and I'm distorted, hit another switch and I'm really distorted. Going back to the, the gain stacking that I showed you yesterday. And anyway, the reason I started using Fender Blackface, and if you've only just got here, Mr. White, I've done quite a comprehensive demo of the all the strengths of this. A brilliant bit where I plugged in the acoustic, because like there are 16 amp models on this rotary switch, and one of them is the Fender Acoustasonic, which is a acoustic amp. But the reason is I used to hire Marshalls for doing gigs because I can't drive. You know, I don't have a license, and so I would quite often have to get to gigs on a fucking National Express. Oh shit! On a National Express or on the train, and I would hire backline and you spec, you know, 50-watt master volume Marshall and a 4x12, and like, you know, it would always be a fucking valve state, and I just cannot get on with valve state. Like, the distortion is a fucking wasp in a tin. Now, I know you like him, Mr. White. I'm not dissing the amp. I can't get results out of it. As I said, and I absolutely mean it, fucking Chuck Schuldiner, one of my favorite fucking heavy guitarists, thrash, you know, the band Death from Florida, the album Leprosy, the fucking sound in that is crushing, and that's a valve state. He was pure valve state user. No pedals. Well, he did use pedals, but it's all valve state. Like, the gain is all valve state. I can't do it. And ZZ Top as well. I mean, that completely fucking befuddled me to learn that they were using bloody 8s, really light gauge strings, ridiculously low action, detuned so they're even flappier and crappier, and fucking valve states. And I just thought, the best sound in all of rock and roll, and it's on 8s, and it's a valve state. What do I know? What do I know? You know, literally, what do I know? It's like that goes against everything to me. But you know, like that amp, like that Marshall, a lot of stuff that was really not liked, like Thunder One basses. Everyone used to slag them off, right? Back in the day, everyone slagged them off because they were ubiquitous, and you know, they weren't a Fender Precision. And everyone would rave about Fender Precisions and Fender Jazz, and a Thunder One, a Westone Thunder One, was not taken seriously, which was a shame, because like, I always liked them, and real good players and musicians understood the quality of the Thunder Ones. You know, they had a high output, they had a nice sort of compressed sort of sound, and a very even response across the strings. So you didn't really have like one note stick out. You didn't have like the really low notes stick out or the high notes stick out like you do with some shitty cheap basses. You know, you get like a note will just stick right out. But yeah, so I hired my backline, and it was specified as Marshall time and again, like really fucking laid the law down, and it would turn up with these fucking valve states combos. And it was just wasp in a tin. I could not get anything out of it. And someone suggested you should carry your own drive and just get an amp that you can go clean. And that's what I did with the valve state. That's how I got around it with the valve state. That very same fucking governor from 20 years ago didn't belong to me then, but was used to get around this issue. Because like, at least it would sound like a Marshall then. But I thought the valve state was horrendously gimmicky, and it put me off anything with a preamp valve in it. You know, any solid states with a preamp valve is just being total fucking gimmick. Chris, man, fucking cool. 7:30 in the States. You're a good man, dude. Like, yeah, that was great fun earlier with fucking John Mancuta. That BC Rich Virgo was lovely. Mr. White, meet another American friend, Christopher Live Sawa. Christopher Live Sawa. You told me how to say it once. I can't fucking remember. But yeah, good to see you here, man. Yeah, I'm just wrapping up, really. I did a demo of the Fender Champ, and I just talked a load of shit for like an hour and a half. But yeah, so someone suggested, yeah, get a clean amp. So I did that with the valve states. Just go clean, and I'd use the governor, and that was how, if we did end up with a valve state, we'd get around it. And then I can't remember who it was, but had like a Fender Pro something, Fender Pro Sonic or something like that, Pro 65. I don't know. But it was a great fucking, it was a Blackface with the silver grill like them. And it was like clean like I'd never heard. Like it was clean like I'd never heard. And what was so amazing about it is when you put like a pedal, like I had an old SD1, like an original Boss Super Distortion, and it picked up every bit of it. And it was like like the distortion had been finely polished, like people polish jewelry, it was like finely polished. You could hear every bit of it. It was so dynamic. And so I got into this business of a clean Fender amp, which you can get anywhere. You specify clean Fender, you'll get something. Okay, you want Fender, you want it to be clean, you'll get something. And it just brings out all these hidden sort of complexities in a good distortion pedal. It'll also bring out the worst in a shit distortion pedal. But that's how I ended up here. That's how I ended up, moving away from the classic way of doing things, which God, all of us did. All of my brother guitarists, like that from the same scene as me, they're still on the Marshalls. Like, Luke, Nigel, come on it. Some of you out there, most likely, James Fit, you've all got fucking massive Marshalls and little class 5s to fucking play at home. And most of you won't own a practice amp out of some weird principle. But yeah. And that's another reason why I was a bit stumped on what Marshall to get. Like I wanted, the orange, the Vox, the Marshall in this studio as like part of the tone palette. And I was a bit stumped. And then, Marco played it. That's perfect. But, I can't see that that's any better than a valve state. You know what, Mr. White? I can't see as it is. I haven't touched a valve state for years. And I wouldn't be surprised if now my attitude is different. If now I haven't got maybe the maturity and a better skill set to make it work for me. I'm a lot more tolerant of. I just always, make the best out of what you got. What else can you do? It's like you've got what you got, and you got to make the best of it. And you'll quite often find, given time and the energy, you will get a great sound. Whatever it is you're running, there's a good sound in there. It's like Frank Zappa. Fucking think of the guitar sounds that he put on record. Just the most amazing tones. And he used to use some right rat fuck little amps and fucking rigs. He used to use like little tiny practice amps and all sorts. I mean, that's the reason I went this route. I can't afford to like fucking get like Faulkner Ecstasy heads and fucking, 5150s and 6505s and, JCM 800 and a DSL and all. I can't afford to get all these heads and get a few nice cabs, because that's really like how most guitarists do it. And it's like George, looking at guitarist studio, like George, guitarists that like make original music and record their own music in their own studio, and they've always got a shit ton of amps. They've always got like a shit ton of amps, and it's usually heads just all like, and and it's all the different flavors. George Lynch being the best, in my view. He just so knows what he's talking about. Like every time, like George Lynch is one of the few players that, like, someone I've never fucking met or even seen in real life, and yet I've learned so much. There are many guitar players who I've sat in front of in real life and I've learned a lot of. On YouTube, like, and like the stars, the rock stars, I've not really learned a lot off of many of them, but George Lynch has taught me shitloads. And I was fascinated looking at his studio, like all of his amps and stuff. And it occurred to, like I had a hit list of what amps I wanted for the studio. It's just a big four. I just wanted a Marshall, a Vox, a Fender, and an Orange. And little ones will do, like that baby Orange, perfectly adequate. I've got my live amps, like as described earlier, and all that. And And yeah, fucking, and it's great, and I absolutely am so pleased in such a short period of time, you know, that I've got the full palette of amps. 8 weeks it took, you know, and the only thing I really want to get now is something else battery powered, something that I can recharge and take out. You know, there's a park in the town with a bandstand, and it would be great, you know, to sort of park up there with a little amp and just quietly do like a set, just surreptitiously do a set. You know, or we can, you know, my girlfriend's got a wicked like van that's sort of like a stealth camper. It just looks like a normal van from the outside, but it's got like a wood burner in it and like a bed and all the comforts. You know, you can cook and everything. It's beautiful, really chilled, and you know, something that you can take out like when we go out in the van and stuff like that. So something rechargeable, and you know, and I like those little laney super groups, and I think they're rechargeable. You know, and I think there's a Black Star that's rechargeable. So it's like it would be cool to get something that I haven't got rechargeable. So like say with the Black Star, then it's like I've got a Black Star as well. Um, but I'm not bothered. It's like I've got all the amps I want, and it might be that I can repair that one that I was showing you. That's basically a tiny PA in a single cab. It's you know, mic channel, instrument channel. I think a flickety switch for high and low impedance on that. So whether it's a keyboard or whether it's a guitar, it's got a EQ section which is parametric in the mids. So it's got like bass, parametric middle, and then treble. So just one knob for treble, one knob for bass, but two knobs for the middle, and it's parametric. So it's got the knob that selects the frequency, and then the knob that pluses or minuses it. And you've got a reverb tray, which is really cheap and really messy. And I like those reverbs. A good thing to have. The reverb in the Rockwood there is a really messy, not as messy as that, but it's a really messy reverb, and I love it. It's kind of trashy. And you know what? I love it. It's got all these sort of like bizarre sort of like reflections. So I'll definitely be using that at some point in a recording, just because it's got its own sort of texture. But yeah, like in congealment, some fucking amazing sounds, as you will hear out of that champ. That, you know, that sounded great earlier on. You know, yesterday, yeah, found a new sound, absolutely wonderful, and I played it a bit ago. And most impressive was when I put the acoustic in and demonstrated the Acoustasonic. If you ever go to the Acoustasonic setting with the electric guitar in it, it will blow the house. It's so loud because it's meant for really low impedance. So boom! So you don't want that. But yeah, that's about it. So I've told you, I think, yeah, I told you how I got to the Fender Blackface and what tuning in the classical. Yep, that's standard. Like all my guitars, apart from those that are tuned to open G for slide, which is just that Yamaha APX up there, which isn't mine. Chris Hodgson, if you're watching, bless you, my friend. Hope you're feeling better. They're in standard tuning, but E flat, so I'm just down a step. But it's, you know, standard tuning. You know, it makes it bloody awkward when I'm jamming. Yeah, like because I have to be like one note up, and you know, you have to like refocus everything. You have to like realize, oh, like every scale and key and pattern and shape that you know, you have to adjust it slightly. Right pain in the ass. I tell you what I love about this, actually, talking of frets and shit, I love the little dots. I think that's a great touch. I love the little dots, and most of the LTDs do that. Like the low end LTDs, I don't know about putting the model number on there, but at least it's like a, you know, pearly block. It's not like the most you know, it's like their thing, isn't it? And it's like you can tell at a glance really quickly, like, oh, it's an LTD, or an ESP, it's got the fucking 12 fret block, kind of like that. But I love the little baby dots. I love those tiny dots. I love that. Really makes it for me. I think if I ever like completely get a guitar built or whatever, I'm just gonna have dots at the top. Maybe like that in brass. Like, I think I've seen that somewhere before, but I think I'd just have dots at the top. I wouldn't need them on the front. But I do like these little tiny babies. See a couple of frets come out. I've got to put them back in. And I've got a problem here on two guitars that I own, where like the string gets caught under a fret somewhere around here. So there's a couple of frets and they need sort of in. So that'll be another thing that I'll be hassling Marco to teach me how to do. I've already asked him and he's already told me actually. It's where I learnt about, what is it, the napping hammer or whatever it was called. But yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna eat a biscuit, and I've just started this. Oh, this was recording last night. The track is called Adrian S, because I don't know, the track, the chord solution goes kind of sort of reminded me of Adrian Smith for some reason, and you know, it was like his sort of resolution. So that's the concept title. CPT TRK means concept track. And yeah, Adrian S, BR600 is the name of the recording device. I actually posted on my Facebook a fucking the first Boss demonstration of that 15 years ago. 15 years old that is. Fucking technology is amazing, so it hasn't dated a bit. The Cosm engine on that is powerful as fuck. But yeah, this is what I've actually recorded so far, is the drums, the keyboard, and it just explains how. And LX guitar is electric guitar. Acoustic guitar would be ACX GTR. But yeah, LX GTR is electric guitar. And I use the Stag Nitro into the Vox VT20 Plus, set to Blackface Bassman Hot Rod with the Klon model set all the way to Gent and Destroy. Yes, I've written a new tune, a new heavy tune, and I recorded it last night. So it's basically been written about 5 days ago. I started. I come up with a couple of new bits yesterday. I mean, I spent the whole afternoon on the Champ yesterday after doing that streaming yesterday, which I really enjoyed yesterday. Like, it was so good to have you guys there, actually. But yeah, I spent the whole afternoon just dicking around with the Champ, and it's like I've been seeing a lot of other amps. You know, I've been faithful to my old amp. It's like I've been seeing a lot of other amps, so I was like reacquainting myself, and it was like, yeah, I treated it like I'd just bought it. Where I've been using it, I really don't dick around with it. Like when I first bought it, you know, it was like about a month of like just being all over it. And then I settled down on like two sounds really, and really that became one. Like that was, you know, there was one that was, you know, they're both almost the same, but one was just slightly better in the end. But it takes a while, you know, good equipment that's got a lot of technical features does take a long time to get to the bottom of. But kind of when you do, it's like, yeah, it does kind of slow up. So yeah, for 4 years, I didn't really ever move around until yesterday, where I just thought, oh, let's just check it out with new ears. If I just bought it, just check. And I got it on a list because I didn't have a manual. So I got it all off the internet, and I got it all on a list, you know, like these are the amp models that are on the Champ, actually, when I was consulting when the stream earlier, when I was talking about it. And I didn't have this out, and I can't remember what's what. So I was just trying it blind. And yeah, found a really nice sound that when I applied drive to it was just fucking magical. Because that's the thing, a really good sparkling Fender clean will go like no other clean. And they're good. You know, the Orange has got a great clean. The Marshall's got a wonderful clean. Really good in their own right. I mean, the Vox has got a cryptic fucking clean, like warm as hell. But nothing touches a Fender clean. In my view, nothing touches it. And the other great thing is it's so fucking, like, even the shittest of Fender guitar amps do a Fender clean that's workable, you know? It's like I used for about a year like one of those Fender Mustang amps, and that was like the Vox, like so loaded with features, just some amazing fucking sounds for an amp of that cost, but absolutely fucking useless live. You could never use it live, just turns to mush. Just one of those things, just completely tuned for the bedroom, really. Like completely tuned for like, you know, bedroom guitarists and, you know, kids, really. But the fact is, you've got all the sounds there, and in that controlled environment, not dissimilar at all to this where I'm at. Like those amps are brilliant. Like that Vox is by far and away the best amp in here for recording. Better than the Chap, better than anything. Fucking noiseless. I can get the most incredible sounds. Like whatever I want, I can pull out of that thing. Now, that is like a recording tool as far as amps go. But yeah, it's a different proposition. It's like some equipment, it is kind of tuned for like guys that live in a little room, like have a fucking guitar amp set up in their room and a guitar in a bedroom or a fucking, you know, a bed sit. And, you know, some of this stuff's never meant to go on the stage. And that's just the way it is, you know. It's like, and the thing is, it's horses for courses, you know. What makes a great live amp might not make a very good amp in a home studio situation or any recording situation, any studio situation. And what makes a great studio one may not necessarily work live. And exactly that situation with the Vox. Like, I've never obviously used it live, but I can fucking tell that will just not work live. It won't pop. It will not pop. It will get beaten up by the other instruments. It'll get lost in the mix. All the nuance won't be there. And it's crazy because, like, actually here, recording with it, my God, I can get giant sounds out of it, like way beyond my pay grade. So yeah, it's very much horses for courses. Gary, man, I'll see you soon. I'm fucking gibbering on like I was going to wrap up 40 minutes ago. So, like, cappuccino. Wish you the very best of health. And I'll catch up again soon. Yeah, I'm just fucking. I'm going to carry on doing that bit of recording and getting stoned for the rest of the day. And I've only had an hour and 20 minutes, Kip. So I'm going to have a little nap at some point, maybe. I've got like some nice bits and bobs, got grub and everything like to wake up to. So, but yeah, I'm going to do this as much as I can. 7 fucking people watching. Fucking hello. I'm going to do this as much as I can. Do you know what? If there's 7 people on, I'll do some music, eh? Do some music on the shocking Manuel Raimundo. Can you believe that story, though? You know, and it's like, I have had tremendous luck. Like, you know, it's like, I do feel like the guitar gods smile on this venture. And I think, like, it being a classical, well, a flamenco guitar is really appropriate because, like, I was waking up and playing that one every day, the Encore, playing it every day starting off and really working on it because it's like nothing helps you with a nylon string. You got nothing helping you, right? It's all up to you and your fingers, and it's like, it's humbling. It takes you right back to the beginning and the basics. And you know, you should always be in your mind. You should always be the student. You should never be the master. You should always be the student. And this, you know, really, like the nylon string really helps me tap into that because, you know, you can't really be anything but a student when you're up against the history of what's been done on this instrument. You know, you're nothing. So it's all there to learn. It's all there to learn. It's all there to study. It's all there to soak up. But yeah, the guitar gods do seem to have smiled on this venture, and it's like, this was just the most tremendous thing. It's legit. That's the thing. It's like anyone can go and get a fucking $2,000 guitar for 30 quid. But, you know, usually it's some fucking crackhead that's broken into some poor single woman primary school teacher's house or something like that. You know, some awful scenario that you're profiting from. This was one of those occasions, you know, where it was completely legit and like all in good faith. You know, the guy wasn't bothered at all. He was like, oh, you had the good deal today. It was you that had the good deal today, sort of thing. And but yeah, Yeah, 1978. You know, it's 1978. Like Manuel Raimundo 145 Negra. That's the model. So the model is a 145, and it's a Negra, which means kind of black. They do like a Negra and a Blanca or Blanca, and obviously black and white. And it's like yeah, it's like a really pale spruce, like, or it's really dark like spruce, you know. But yeah, this German spruce, you know, the mountains of Germany, you know, and it's this really slow growing spruce on the cold mountainside. So it's a really dense grain, and like they rave about that, like, you know, they really select the top wood, you know, for response and all that. And it's what a privilege to own a guitar where, you know, that much attention to detail. You know, it's wonderful. And I really hope that I can kind of do honor to this instrument, because, you know, I treat it like it is my instrument. Like I didn't, you know, I'm not precious. Like I'll tell you exactly what I did straight away, because it's got no fret markers. Wham, out with a permanent marker, and I put that line there. You know what I mean? Because fuck you, I want to play the goddamn thing. And that's all I need. I don't need the other. You know, it's just I need one. Yeah, I need one to show me there, right? And I got, what is it, the seventh or the ninth, or is it third, fifth? Yeah, seventh fret. Like I need to know where the seventh fret is. The rest of it I can work out. Like I know that's the 12th. From that, I know that's the 12th. I know that's the 10th. Yeah, it's like I know that's the 8th. I know that's the 4th, the 2nd, the 3rd, the 5th. You know, it's like I can navigate so long as I got that one. But without that one, oof, I'm a bit lost at sea. I don't like it. I can play, but if I don't just go along with it and kind with confidence and sort of aplomb and verve and flow, you know, at the moment I think about it, I might be one up or one down, and I fuck myself, you know. And so it's like I hate it. No fret markers at all. I'm not quite there. I have to have one. And I have to say, like back to what we were saying earlier about fret markers, maybe if I was ever doing a custom, I would just have like one fret marker on the 7th, because that's all I need. And if it was like a 24 fret electric, you know, maybe go 7th, 12th, and the other 7th on the other side. I don't know what it's called, 19th. But yeah, like I have to have that one to navigate. So like, okay, yeah, it's a fucking nearly $2.5 guitar, 2,250 quid. Is the value of like a guitar in this condition, of this age, by this maker, like and this model. So it's like, you know, kind of mind blowing. And like he said, oh, it's worth like 500 quid, and I kind of didn't take any notice. You know what I mean? It's like the spiel. It's like I'll make my mind up whether it's like, but I could see that it was good. I mean, I could see the woodwork, and I could see that it was good. And well, you know, when I went like that, saw it's a solid top, it was like, oh fuck yeah, definitely. And I thought, yeah, if he says like 130 quid, I'll snap his fucking arms off for it, you know. And he said 100 quid, so it's like bang, you know. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap up, and I'm gonna do a little bit of music to see us out. Chris the snail driver, fellow guitarist. Oh, who's that? Cool, man. That's not Mark, is it? Or Jolien, maybe? I don't know who that could be. Well, I'm just wrapping up. I'm just noodling. Better keep my eyes open, to be honest. Roger Waters and Ron Geeson, Music from the Body. Very obscure album. I remember other worlds gather around my chair as I return. Carriages were open to the breeze, muffin boys and trams and trees. I recall when I was young and the world was not so small. Oh, Chris, and you met me from the CGS fan. Oh, man, thanks, bro. Yeah, man, thanks, bro. I think it's looking like it's going to go a bit grey, and it's a shame because it's going to go out for a walk with the dog and the girlfriend, and it's starting to look like a bit rain. But yeah, that was from the Ron Geeson Roger Waters album, Music from the Body. If you've never heard it, do check it out. Really obscure, or it is to me anyway. Yeah, well, Chris, nice to fucking meet you, dude. Yeah, I live in New Milton. And I moved here, like, believe it or not, I moved here the fucking 23rd of March 2020. So I haven't really got to meet many people because it was literally fucking lockdown as soon as I fucking moved here. But nice to meet you, buddy. Look after yourself and everybody else, Mr. White and Chris and fucking Gary and anyone else. Been an absolute pleasure today. If you've only just tuned in, and oh wow, wicked. Oh shit, well, we'll have to have a jam, man. We'll have to have a jam at some point. Shit, fucking hell. Look, I'm Tim Fox on Facebook. If you find Blacktooth Fox on Facebook, there is a page. You'll probably, if you sort of look for Tim Fox from there, you should be able to find my Facebook. Yes, if you can find me, or like you tell me who you are, and fucking on Facebook, we'll connect through Facebook, and we'll organise something if you want. That'd be fucking awesome. Because yeah, like I say, lockdown as soon as I fucking moved here, and yeah, I didn't really get to it. But then I just sitting there fucking playing guitar. I don't give a shit. Sitting there fucking have a bomb, play guitar. I don't really give a fuck. But it'd be great, man. That'd be great. Fucking brilliant. Chris Blaney on Facebook. I'm going to write that down right now, man. And yeah, that we'll try and connect. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Wow, that's cool. Because well, I lived in Chichester, and it's like I didn't a day didn't go by. I didn't see fucking two mates at least every day. I mean, it's like I knew loads of people, and to go from being sort of super social to sort of being absolutely no social, it's like it's been all right, but I've had to sort of deal with it. I've never really complained about it, and it's just like there's bigger fish to fry, and I was homeless and on the streets at one point. Fucking having the studio is fucking great, plenty to appreciate, but yeah, man, fucking I'll look you up, Chris. All right, I'm gonna have to knock it. 2 hours have been going. Wow, I've said nothing. I've been absolutely useless. Right, well, I'll see you next time. next couple of days I'll do another one and I'll do another amp. All right, wicked. All right, look after yourselves, stay harmonious, stay heavy, and look after each other out there. Absolutely crazy it is getting, but yeah, lean on each other like you lean on an oak tree, and absolutely bless you.